Hello everyone, welcome to Unit 4, Activity 2. In Activity 1, we built the stage. We uploaded the sprites, painted the backdrop, and got the boat's rowing animation going. Now, we are going to make everything interactive. We will code the boat's movement controls so the player can steer through the flood waters. And we will build the obstacle system that spawns logs and debris from the top of the screen. By the end of this activity, the core gameplay loop will be fully running. Let's get started. First, click on the boat sprite. In the blank area of the workspace, drag a brand new when green flag is clicked block, completely separate from the animation code we built in Activity 1. This new block controls the boat's movement, having to separate when green flag is clicked stops, lets the animation and the movement run exactly at the same time. Next, snap a forever block to the new when green flag is clicked block. All movement logic lives inside this loop. The game checks for key press continuously many times per second, which is what makes the controls feel fluid and responsive rather than jerky. From the motions category, place a change Y by block inside the forever loop and set the value to -5. The change Y block is different from set Y. Instead of teleporting the sprite to a fixed position, it takes the current position and adds steps to it every frame. And a negative value drives the sprite downward, creating the sensation that the boat is being pushed downstream by the current. Next, from the motion category, snap an if on edge bounce block below the change Y block. This restricts the boat from going beyond the borders of the stage. Without it, the boat would drift off the bottom and disappear completely. Add a point in direction 90 block. This ensures the sprite always starts with the correct orientation, facing upward, every time the forever loop cycles. Without it, the if on edge bounce block can sometimes flip the sprite and cause it to face the wrong way. From the control category, add an if then else block. This is like having a plan A and a plan B. Unlike a plain if then block, the if then else has an additional else section that runs when the main condition is false. The if section handles the right arrow. The else section is where we nest the left arrow logic. In the conditions category, in the if condition, add a key right arrow press block. Inside the if section, snap a change x by 10. This causes to move the boat to right. Then point in direction 100. The direction value of 100 creates a slight rightward tilt. The boat leans as it steers. Small visual details like this makes a game feel polished and alive. In the else section, drag a new if-then block and set its condition to key left arrow press. We are nesting one conditional inside another. This is called nested logic. The outer block handles the right arrow. The inner block handles the left arrow. Only one direction can be active at a time. Inside the left arrow, if block, snap a change x by -10 and add point in direction 80. The direction values 100 for right and 80 for left are subtle tilts that communicate direction to the player through the sprite's posture. It is a simple but effective design choice. After the if-then-else block, outside and below it, still inside the forever loop, add a new if-then block. Set the condition to key up arrow press. Inside, place change y by 10 block. This moves the boat upward, fighting against the downstream current. The player must be actively balance the downward drift with upward pushes to stay in control. Next, click the sounds button, then add sound, then upload. Find the above water MP3 in Assets Resources and upload it. This music track will play throughout the entire mission, setting the mood and immersing the player in the rescue scenario. Add a third separate when green flag is clicked block on the boat sprite. Snap a forever loop inside it. Place a, s- place a play sound until done block and set it to above water. Using play sound until done inside the forever loop ensures the music restarts the instant it finishes, creating a seamless loop for the entire game session. Next, click the log sprite. In the existing code, where the log hides at the game start, snap a create a clone of myself block right after the hide block. This creates a clone immediately when the game begins. The original log stays hidden. Only its clones are visible and active on the stage. Next, add a when I start as a clone block. This fires for each new clone created. Snap a forever loop and inside it, place change y by -10 block. Each clone will continuously fall downward, simulating debris being carried downstream by the current. Next, snap an if-then block inside the forever loop. From the operators category, place a less than block in the condition. In the first slot, drag a Y position block from motion. Set the second value to -200. This checks whether the clone has fallen past the bottom of the stage. Inside the if-then block, snap 3 blocks in this order. First, go to random position block. The next block is set Y to 200 block. And lastly, a show block. The go to random position picks a random X coordinate, but because the next block immediately sets the Y to 200, the clone always responds at the top of the stage at a random horizontal position. The show block makes it visible since it was initially hidden. Run the code, you should see the log spawning at the top and falling down continuously. Next, snap a second if-then block right after the first and still inside the forever loop. Set the conditions to touching both one. Inside, place a go to random position block and set Y to 200 and start sound squish pop. When a log clone hits the boat, it teleports back to the top to spawn again, and the sound signals the collision. This is the game telling the players they have been hit.